stressée pour ton anglais?
Si je suis stressée pour mon anglais, oui, vraiment, là. C'est parce que tu connais mon anglais, là, toi, ça fait 30 ans qu'on se connaît. Puis là, je reçois comme, mettons, Lisa Williams, en plus qu'elle a un accent british à côté dans le tapis, là. Puis, et de deux, elle parle avec les morts. Je capote.
Mais ça, t'as pas besoin d'être anglophone pour...
Pour parler avec les morts!
2546011.
And then you will speak English. C'est bon. Bonjour, j'espère que vous allez bien. Bienvenue à ma Steph TV. Écoutez, aujourd'hui, je suis très excitée, et c'est vraiment le mot, je suis fébrile à l'idée de vous présenter mon invité, que je vous présente dans quelques minutes. Je fais l'introduction en français, mais vous allez voir, ça va être une interview aujourd'hui qui va se réaliser en anglais. Alors, on reçoit la seule et l'unique Lisa Williams, qui est médium, qui est aussi l'auteur de 3 livres extraordinaires. L'âme est éternelle, Je parle aux morts et vous, et Ma vie parmi les morts. Alors, sans plus tarder, je vous la présente tout de suite. L'interview va se dérouler en anglais, mais vous allez voir, il y aura un sous-titrage pour vous permettre de nous suivre. Alors, Lisa, thank you so much to be here.
You're welcome.
I know you maybe don't understand everything that I said, but I said that you're a medium. You also write 3 books. You had a show on TV, Life Among Dead, and also you have a radio show now. So thank you to be here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
You know, Lisa, usually I don't have any answer, but today, because it's in English, I'm gonna... So first question, Lisa, when did you discover that you have this gift?
Well, you know, I was 4 years old when I first started to see dead people. Although I remember, my mum and dad tell me I was much younger. But I thought everybody saw them. I thought everybody had this experience. So I didn't think it was unusual. But the more I started to work with it, the better it became. And I think I was really sort of like late teens really, and it started to scare me.
Yeah, eh?
Yeah, it did. Because it's not normal. I mean, you wake up and I have these imaginary conversations, but they're real to me.
Yeah.
And I look like I'm talking to myself all the time. And I'm like, what do you mean you can't see this person?
Yeah, and your parent at the beginning, they don't believe you.
No, they didn't. And it was, in fact, there's a funny story. And I was talking to my dad recently how they wanted to section me into a mental institute. They used to, they used to say to me, the men in white coats are coming to get you. And I'm like, oh no, oh no.
Oh my God.
So I really I shut it down and I hid it for a while because it was just too much. It really was.
But your grandmother, France, it's how you said her name?
Frances.
Frances. She also have this gift. Am I
Yes,
correct? Yeah.
she did. And it was when my grandfather died when I was 7 years old that she finally came out.
Yeah.
And she kept telling my parents, no, she's like me. Well, my dad was a complete atheist at the time, and he was like, no, I don't believe, it's all hogwash. My mum was like, okay. So, you know, and my grandmother never taught me.
Oh no?
No, I wish she had have done, because obviously then I would have understood it.
Yeah.
But no, she didn't tell me anything.
God. Wow. You know, I spoke with many people who consult medium, and one of the things that I realized that after a consultation with a medium, most of the people are not scared anymore from that. Do you see that sometimes with the person that you do some lecture? That's how you said that?
Yeah, so a reading, I'll do a reading with them. Yes, your English is great, so don't worry. But and you know, people do fear death. I mean, I think everybody does. I think it's only
normal,
natural,
yeah.
Because it's the unknown. But what I've also realised is that when we do a reading, I think they're a little bit more comfortable. I'm not saying they don't fear it. I think they're a little bit more comfortable with the idea. I'm not solely responsible for everyone's healing. I'm just a facet in someone's healing.
Yeah.
Healing from the grief, healing from a loss, or just understanding it. So I think it does help very much so.
Yeah. Are you scared of that?
I think I'm a little nervous of it because it's the fear of the unknown and what's going to happen. But I've had a near-death experience, and it was the most beautiful thing ever. So I really don't have anything to worry about. But I think it's like going on that roller coaster that we don't know what's going to happen, and I think that's what it is really.
Yeah, because you have an experience of I don't know how to say it in English, but you almost you were very sick. So you see what's happened on the other side? That's
it. We call it a near-death experience.
Okay.
And I talk about it in my book, actually. And so, I mean, I experienced it, and it was phenomenal. It was great. Not that I recommend everyone to go and do it, but it was amazing experience, and it didn't hurt. It was great, but it's also, I was sick. I couldn't control it. And that's the thing. People don't want to be out of control. So it's that feeling of not being in control. Yeah, and you said that it was hurt, your body was hurt, so you don't want to come back, eh? That's right. Yeah. I didn't want to. It was in too much pain. Oh my God, that's woo. Yeah. When people consult you, what would you say was the most reason? Is that regrets? Because there's a lot of people said, "Oh my God, my father is dead, and I wish I tell him this, I love him," or is a reason why people consult you? Many. I mean, I would say one is regrets. To have the final conversation, just to say, "Hey, I'm sorry I wasn't there," or "I love you," or "Happy birthday," or to find out what happened. Or the other one, the interesting one is, where is the will? Where is my inheritance? Oh, I get that all the time. You're not serious? I know, I'm serious. Oh my God. Oh, really? But I mean, I do get that, but a lot of the times it is all about their healing. But I cannot tell you the amount of times I get, why wasn't I made the executor of the will, and la la la. Oh, yeah. My God. So you do a lot of events, that's why you're in Montreal now. But you also, did you continue to do some one-on-one consultation? Not while I'm here. I wish I could. Yeah, I mean, it's constantly go when I'm on tour. So the last thing I have time for is to do a reading. Sleep is more important because you learn to sleep standing up. You need to sleep. And in your book, this one, L'âme est éternelle in French, you said, do you always tell everything? I mean, the good thing and the bad thing. You know what I mean? I do. Yeah. And the reason why, I'll tell you a story. I was communicating with this lady, and she said to me, she wanted to know about her life. And out of the blue, I said, "Do you want to know everything?" She said, yeah, I do. So I continue, which is, voulez-vous tout savoir? Oui, she's good in French. That's all I know. But I asked her, and she said yes, she did. And then out of nowhere, I said, "The person who's waiting for the heart transplant isn't going to get it." And she said, "Okay." Just very clean, very easy. Anyway, I don't know, some time went by, and this girl came to see me, and I looked at her spirit, and I thought, I recognize you, and anyway, so the spirit kept saying to me, and it was her mum, the spirit kept saying to me, "Talk about the letter, talk about the letter, talk about the letter." And I said, "Your mum keeps wanting me to ask you about the letter." And so she's like, "Oh my God, she wrote letters." And she said she wrote letters because she knew somehow she was going to die. And then her mum said, "You have a letter in the bag for you." And I went, "What?" And she said, "Ask her about the letter that's in the bag." I said, "There's a letter in your bag." She went, "Oh, I almost forgot." And it was to me. Really? And it was a lady that I told that wasn't going to about the heart transplant, and she died from a heart attack. 3 days after my reading, I had no idea she was waiting for a heart transplant. My God. And in the letter, and I still have it, she says, "Thank you so much for letting me know everything, because it gave me the opportunity to say my goodbyes through letters." Wow. And that's when I decided I could not hold back any information. I'm going to tell everything. Oh, that's amazing story. Yeah. Woohoo, my God. You said earlier that
you were sometimes scared.
Mm-hmm.
What could you do now to don't experience again those kind of things? Are you still scared sometimes?
No, I'm not.
No?
I mean,
Okay.
the other day, before I was packing to come here, you know, I had someone follow me around the house. I'm like, will you go away? You know?
Are you serious?
Oh no, seriously. I'm
Because
like,
you just moved in a new house a few months ago.
I moved last year,
Okay.
and it's actually a house that has spirits because I live in a very spiritual community.
Okay.
And I'm like, really? Do you have to bother me right now? I'm packing. Can you not come at not 2 because it was 2
Can you
o'clock
come
in the
tomorrow,
morning?
please?
Yeah, it was. It was 2 o'clock in the morning. Can I just get some sleep, please? You know, that'd be nice.
Are you serious?
So I'm not scared now. I'm just go away.
And
Yeah.
and when you said go away, they respect that?
They did.
They
They
Spirit,
did.
yeah.
The spirits, and I'm like, get off me, and I shut the door. I shut the door on them. I mean, they can walk through doors, but I just shut the door.
Yeah, they could walk through doors. Oh my God. Oh, and you said in one of your book that sometimes you put, I think it's a watch, and that means don't come.
Don't come. Yeah, in my TV show, I always wore a hat. And it all started because of bad hair day. You know, we all have bad hair days that we want to hide. And I realised I couldn't read with a hat on. But I also realised that I can't read with my watch on. And I can't do any form of TV interview or anything without my watch, with my watch on. So it's kind of my thing to say, right, I'm shut down. It's my time. It's really quite interesting.
And when you have your watch, they don't come, or?
They come, but I just ignore them, and it's easier for me to ignore. And the reason is we have so many energetic points, and we have our major pulse points here, and it's really just it stops the energy flow. So any form of metal here stops my energy flow.
Oh wow!
It's great because then I can just say, right, I'm off business.
You need a break sometimes.
I do, yeah, I do.
My God. You know, in your book, you talk about skeptical person. What do you have to say to these people? And I know you don't want to convince them, but what can you say to those people who said, there's nothing after?
You know, the skeptics are interesting.
Yeah.
I grew up with a skeptic.
Yeah.
My father is a big skeptic, and he travelled, I don't know, 9 shows in Australia, and finally on the last show he said, I have to believe you now. There is no way that you can do that night after night and remember specific details. He said, you're intelligent, but you're not that intelligent. And he'd even look for hidden microphones, and he'd look for in my luggage and for information. And my boyfriend is also somewhat of a skeptic, but he'd say, Lisa, I believe in you. I'm just not sure I believe in it. And even he sat there and watched me and go, how do you do this? And he's a licensed therapist, and he's gone, you just give healing, and for me that as a therapist, that's great. So the skeptics, I'm like, I'm not here to change your mind.
No.
If you're an open-minded skeptic, then great, come and experience it. But if you don't believe, then that's fine. But don't push your beliefs on someone else. Let them experience it themselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's very important because there's a lot of skeptical.
Yeah.
But they maybe don't go to see your show or things, or maybe sometimes.
Well, I had one last night.
Really?
Oh, I have to tell you this. This is funny.
I want to hear that story.
Because I was in Quebec.
Yeah.
And I said, I rarely go to a direct area, and I went, there's a gentleman over there with a stripe, white shirt and a stripe. I said, there's a man standing right between you and that other lady. And I said, and he's a golfer, and there's a significance about a golf. Well, the woman next to that guy stood up and she went, oh, and I came out with certain things and dates and everything. And she was with her husband, and his brother, best friend, died, and they owned a golf club together.
Oh no.
And he said, Lisa, I did not believe. He said, and I just made a phone call to my brother going, I don't know if I believe in this. And he said, and now I get the reading. Oh, I have to believe because I'm coming out with so much stuff. And he went, how did you know? How did you know?
Really?
Yeah.
So it's up yesterday night.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I always say just experience it. Yeah. There are some people you can't change because those are cynical people.
Yeah.
but they don't bother me.
No.
You know, we're all entitled to our own beliefs.
Yeah.
And I believe, and it's funny because my belief system changed a number of years ago when Jehovah's Witness turned up at my doorstep. And she said to me, she said, I don't believe in this. And because I said, look, with all due respect, we have very different beliefs. And she said, you know, if I hadn't have been brought up in a Jehovah's Witness lifestyle, I may believe in what you do.
Okay.
And I went, you know what, that's right, you might. And she said, so I can't understand it. And we had this long conversation. And it was beautiful to have someone who was very, very heavily religious understand and be open-minded about my work.
Yeah.
So I know that people can be.
Yeah, and since you had a show, you live in Los Angeles at this time, and you said that people begin to recognize you on the street.
Yeah.
Do you love that?
I mean, who doesn't love being recognized, you know? It's a bit weird.
People don't like it, you know?
My son didn't like it at the beginning. He was like, Mom, put your hat on. Mom, let's hide, you know? But he was like 6, so he was young. But now he just goes, oh. But it's weird, and it still shocks me even now, because I was walking along, I was in an airport in Sydney, and I had this guy chase me, and he went, Lisa, and of course I'm like minding my own business, and I turned, he goes, oh, I just love you, and I looked at him and went, do I know you? And then I had to have that moment of going, oh my gosh, you're a fan, you know, because you kind of have to think.
Sure.
But I mean, it's beautiful that people recognize me and actually like what I do.
And did people, when they saw you on the street, ask you, did you see somebody? Or
and it's hard to switch into it that quick. And normally I just say, no, I'm really sorry, but thank you, la la. But then there's times I'll have to say something, or I'll go up to someone and just say something. So you just don't know when it's going to appear.
Like it's happened just before the interview.
It did.
You spoke with Julie and you said, okay, I saw your grandmother, and that's interesting. You said in your book that we have multiple lives. How much do you think is it the same thing for everybody? Somebody told me that I am at my 550. It is 555. How did you say that?
555.
Is it possible?
It's possible, yeah.
And she also tell me I have still just 2 legs.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's true. Maybe you could tell me.
Wow.
Do you think it's possible?
I think it is possible.
Really?
I mean, who knows? I mean, when we start to think that you see, the thing is, there's so much vastness in the world, and when we put a limit on it, we're limiting boundaries, we're putting boundaries on it. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I know that there's been past lives, because I know that I'm affected by certain things that have happened in my life that have triggered me into thinking, oh wow, that's happened before. And I remember,
really?
and I remember being dressed differently, and I remember being a man, or I remember being a young person.
You're able to
Yeah, for me I can. Okay. And I can be triggered into a situation, and I'll be like, oh, I know that person, and I've met them here before. So that's quite weird. And again, it's like when I was married, my ex-husband, we went to San Francisco, and he got in a rental car, and he knew the streets of San Francisco, like, and we'd never been.
Really?
And he knew the streets of San Francisco. He said, yeah, we've got to go this way, and da, da, da. And he said, I've been in San Francisco before. I was like, no, you haven't. He said, no, not in this life.
Really?
So it was really interesting.
Wow.
And a good friend of mine, Dr. Brian Weiss, has a book called Many Lives, Many Masters. Okay. And that really opened my awareness to past lives. And I started to research it probably about 14 years ago. Okay. And that's when I started to look, oh yeah, we have past lives. And I love getting past life regression done.
Wow. Oh,
because I can discover how I've met that person before. If I feel like I'm really strongly linked to somebody, I'll go and have a regression done, and I'll find out how we were past, and then I often realize that they've killed me in a past life or something like that. Yeah. It's really interesting.
The medium that I met, she told me I have I think it's 35 lives with my husband.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's interesting. In your book, this book, you know, when I read your book, I realize that, my God, there's a lot of job after, you know, it's a job. There's a lot of work to do. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, we see it as hard work. I mean, you know, all that soul searching, all that looking at ourselves, it's like, oh, it's heavy.
Yeah.
But in our human form, of course, it's naturally heavy because we have other things to think about. We have, you know, picking up the kids from school, we have work, we have to go shopping, we have to do the laundry, we have all of our human things that we have to do. We also have to eat. But in our spirit terms, we don't have any of that. And so if you imagine it's like the monks, you know, if you're in a silent retreat for 10 days, you can't think of anything. No. You're just in the present.
Yeah.
And being in the present, as we know, can solve so many things. And so that's exactly what it's like.
Wow.
So it's not really a job or it's not hard work. It's just about being in the present and almost assessing what we've been through, but looking at it from a different angle or fresh eyes and understanding, okay, now that experience happened for this reason. Okay. It's almost like this meditation that you just don't come out of. It's fantastic.
Yeah, okay. I always said to my little son, you know, we're gonna see us each other after, you know, in other life. But is that true? Did we, when we arrive on the other side, did we met like, is my grandmother's gonna be there and said, oh, hello, Stephanie, how are you?
Absolutely.
Happy you're here.
Absolutely. Really? Yeah, and because, you know, we'll get met by our animals as well, our pets, our family, our friends, those that we...
Our pets?
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. In fact, I was in Auckland. I was in Auckland and I read for an elephant. An elephant. I've had horses, I've had little mice, I've had rabbits, I've had dogs, I've had cats. And, you know, I joke and do the sound of the animal, you know, I have a dog coming through, woof, woof. And everyone laughs. But reality is the dog will communicate and say, don't feel guilty for having to euthanize me and put me down, and because I needed to. And you know, I had stomach cancer, or I had a tumor, and oh yeah, and it's all through not verbal speaking like we're speaking. It's almost like they're planting those thoughts into my mind. It's so interesting.
Wow.
And I feel them.
Wow. So okay, so my grandmother, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna see you in
Yeah, you will.
I hope it's not tomorrow.
No, it won't be. No, hold on, I have a feeling it's not gonna be tomorrow.
Great. Lisa, we spoke about your work, but what Lisa do to disconnect, you know, on a personal plan?
Oh, thanks for asking that. You know, I do a lot of things. I'm really active. I'm outdoors girl. So I have a motorcycle. So I ride my motorcycle everywhere in the summer. I ski in the winter. I camp. I sing. I am really musical. And I have a 15-year-old son who is constantly on the video games. So I drag him off the video games and we do stuff together. I cook as well.
Really?
Shh, don't tell anybody, because I tell everyone I'm an awful cook, but I can cook. Yeah, I just do normal things, you know, but I am very much an active person. So I like to, and I clean. I'm a freak about my cleaning.
Really?
Oh my gosh. When I'm in my head and I need to disconnect, I clean. Oh yeah.
It helps you too.
It helps me shut off and I organize. And so I do a couple of things, but yeah, mainly outdoor stuff.
Oh. Lisa, what could I wish you to? What could we wish to Lisa William for the future? And I just don't mean professionally, but also personally. What can I wish to you?
Oh wow, I think it's really just enjoying life.
Yeah.
I think everybody needs to enjoy life and be present and be in the now. And for me personally, it is about just having a quality of life.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish for everybody, really.
Sure. And I think you help a lot of people to reach this objective.
Thank you.
Lisa, thank you so much. It was an amazing interview. it's a challenge for me, but thank you.
Wow.
I just want to say to people, if you want to go on your website, it's lisawilliam.com, because you have some event, but you also give some training.
Yes, I do. I teach mediumship and I teach psychic awareness and confidence, and absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much. Alors, avant de terminer, j'ai envie de vous dire, allez à la librairie chercher les livres de Lisa. Moi, je vous les recommande fortement. Si vous avez la chance, dans le futur, d'aller voir les événements de Lisa William, bien évidemment, je vous le propose. Alors, je vous embrasse, je vous dis merci d'être là et on se voit dans une prochaine entrevue. Bye! Bye!